In the personal story segment tonight, can Hillary Clinton convince voters she won't just be an Obama third term if she wins the White House? Judging by reactions to her debate performance this week, even people on the far left think she's got a lot of work to do.
Secretary Clinton, how would you not be a third term of President Obama?
Well, I think that's pretty obvious. I think being the first woman president would be quite a change from the presidents we've had up until this point, including President Obama.
Really? That's it? So the only thing separating you and President Obama is the fact that you have different parts? What are you, Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? Well, Anderson, I think our differences are pretty obvious. He has a mustache and I have this hat with a flower on.
Joining us now to analyze from Los Angeles, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall, and with me in studio, Jeannie Zaino, a political science professor at Iona College. So what do you say, Leslie? President Obama 2.0 or third term President Obama, you say?
Oh, absolutely not. You have to watch the rest of the debate and you have to listen to what she's saying. She says, look, repeal the Cadillac tax on Affordable Care Act. She says that in Syria, the president's policies and strategy have failed arming the rebels. She has also said that she turned around 360 degrees with TPP. She said that Putin shouldn't bully us, showing that she's more hawkish and that perhaps the president is a bit weak. On immigration, she says the deportations aren't working. Even on Keystone, she has distanced herself. That is 6 just in the past 2 weeks where she differs greatly from the president. So I think we need to look at more than just the soundbite.
Fair enough. Jeannie, there were many things that she agreed with the president on, though.
Many things. And you know, up until the debate, I would have agreed with Leslie. She had been moving away from the president, but she gets before her first national audience. And what does she do? To a question, you know, are you going to be a third term? How are you going to differ? It's because of her gender. She uses that as a crutch, essentially. And then when he presses her on policy, she says she's going to continue his work, and she ties herself to a number of issues. Let's remember when Lincoln Chafee questioned her about her vote in Iraq, she once again ran to the president and said, look, we debated about this. Then he selected me as Secretary of State. She talked famously about...
So you're a political professor. Isn't that smart politics to kind of, yeah, I'm with President Obama and no, I'm not with President Obama? She can get both voters.
Well, you know, I think that's what she's trying to do, but she does run the risk of looking like she's trying to have it both ways. And I think this is a problem for her. Americans famously don't elect a third term. We haven't had a third term Democrat
Leslie,
for a long time.
can she have it both ways? I mean, she may be able to have it both ways through the primary process, but can she have it both ways going into a general?
Actually, it's got to be 3 ways, technically. I mean, she has to show, and I think she and others on that stage had to not alienate those that support President Barack Obama. And looking at segments of the population she does very well with, such as African Americans that came out en masse for him. Secondly, she has to kind of move more to the left to get some of those people that have gone from her to Sanders and get them back. And then, of course, she's got to get her core. And that morning, if you remember, ABC News showed her had a 79% approval rating among Democrats. So I think she did accomplish that. And I think it was a bit of a joke in that she had to inflict her gender into the conversation.
One of the other big undercurrents going on this week, besides the debate, was surrounding the debate, really. Tulsi Gabbard, the vice chair of the DNC, was taking shots at Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Take a listen.
Shortly after I called for more debates, the chairwoman said publicly that she had communicated and consulted with vice chairs and officers of the DNC prior to making her decision. The fact is there was no communication, there was no consultation with the vice chairs and officers, of which I am one. So it's unfortunate that she continues to say things that aren't true.
So, Jeannie, disarray in the DNC?
You know, it's sounding like disarray. Now, this was the first shot across the bow. Now we have another vice chair since then coming out and supporting her statements and saying, look at Debbie Wasserman Schultz. He essentially used the term is lying about what she is saying. So, you know, there is dissension in the ranks. I don't think it's something that's going to, you know, permanently upset the Democratic committee. But I do think it's something that Wasserman Schultz has to get under control. She has to look like she is being fair to all candidates, and she's got to be honest, and the vice chairs have to support her.
I got to be honest here a little bit, Leslie. I believe Tulsi Gabbard. However, I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz may change her mind after seeing the debate performance by Hillary.
I got to agree with you there, Eric. A lot of people say that Debbie Wasserman Schultz does not have a great relationship with President Obama and that gang, and that she wants to hold her job, and that's why she's really pushing for Hillary to win. But Hillary is really a seasoned debater, and I think we certainly saw that. She performs very well, so why wouldn't she want to put her candidate out there more?
Her candidate, hold on there, kiddo. Her candidate, there were 5 of her candidates on that stage the other night.
No,
Jeannie.
what I'm saying is her job is definitely, many people feel more secure.
No, what you're saying is you showed us your hand, Leslie. You exposed your hand. You showed us what we all already knew, Jeannie, that her candidate is Hillary.
That's the problem for her. It looks like her candidate is Hillary, and quite frankly, there's another candidate that wasn't there in Joe Biden, who quite frankly is closer to President Obama, and so she's got to be very careful that she's being fair to all 6 of the candidates who are in this race, because Joe Biden hasn't decided yet.
We'll leave it right there, Jeannie and Leslie. Thank you very much.